Opening statements today in the trial of a former Navy man whose pickup flew off the Coronado Bridge, killing 4 people.
Prosecutors say Richard Cipollio was driving drunk when he crashed into the crowd below in Chicano Park back in October of 2016. News 8's Shannon Handy is live in Chicano Park tonight with what happened in court. Shannon?
Barbara Lee and Steve, you can see there's a large memorial here at the crash site. This is where Richard Cipollio landed. He was driving on that ramp up there when he lost control. Now, even though it's been more than 2 years, for family members inside the courtroom today, they say the healing process is still ongoing.
I don't want another family to go through this.
The past 2 years have been a nightmare for Marianne Contreras and her sisters. Their parents, Cruz and Anne-Marie Contreras, were among the 4 people killed in October of 2016 when Richard Cipollio, a Navy aviation technician, drove off of the Coronado Bridge, crashing into Chicano Park, where hundreds had gathered for an annual motorcycle rally.
Being here is brutal. It's hard to hear all the evidence, all the details, knowing the pain that my parents suffered.
Marianne and her family traveled from Arizona to attend the trial, which started Monday with opening statements.
They arrived on a motorcycle and left in a body bag.
Prosecutor Callie Bright described a chaotic scene showing cell phone video taken just seconds following the crash.
This looked like a war zone.
7 others were badly injured. Cipollio, who faces 4 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter, was heading home to Naval Station North Island when he lost control while passing someone as he exited Interstate 5. Investigators allege he was driving more than 80 miles an hour while arguing on his cell phone with his girlfriend. They also argue he was under the influence, saying earlier that day he had brunch with a friend, during which time he ordered a drink and split a bottle of wine.
And in his text messages that he sends, he tells her his intent was to get white girl wasted that day at brunch.
But because of his injury, Cipollio wasn't tested until hours after the crash. The results came back below a .059, so prosecutors say they can prove he was drunk at the time.
And both of the officers will tell you they believe he was impaired for the purposes of driving.
Meanwhile, Cipollio's defense attorney Paul Fink says there's no evidence supporting that claim.
We passed the blood test, we passed the breath test.
Finks also argues the portion of the bridge where Cipollio flew off doesn't have a metal guardrail, something that could have prevented this tragedy.
The bolts were installed, but nobody ever put the guardrail there. Had the guardrails been installed as the bridge was designed, this crash would not have happened.
And back out here live, you can see the names of the other 2 who died, Andre Banks and Francine Jimenez. Family and friends say they will stay at this trial until it ends. If convicted, Cipollio faces 24 years in prison.